Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description. Hey friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
So now that we've had a few months to digest the WWE brand split, and with Survivor Series looking to be the first pay-per-view where the two brands mix it up, we figured we'd take a look at who has thrived in the new era
and who has floundered. Today we're going to look at that first group, the ones who have benefited from the brand split, and tomorrow we'll talk about those who have been hurt.
Yeah, so here you go. Here are the 10 wrestlers helped most by the brand split. Braun Strowman, the former new face of destruction, was drafted to Raw, taking the black sheep away from the Wyatt family and forcing him into a singles career.
This may be a blessing in disguise though, as the legit strongman was given a slightly different look and allowed to flex his massive muscles against a slew of local enhancement talent, who had some great pre-match interviews by the way, before finally sinking his teeth into Sin Cara.
That's right, and now he's demanding better competition from Mick Foley, and who knows what he'll do if Cactus Jack doesn't deliver.
Go through the locker room and leave a trail of bodies, I'd imagine. Yeah. Now that he isn't sharing the spotlight with any of his former fellow cult members, a little unnecessary violence might help Strowman stand out.
The monster heel push for this giant wasn't really a surprise though, as there were backstage rumors that management wanted him to go up against the Beast Brock Lesnar. But like many things, those plans were scrapped, and the current rumor is that he'll take on Samoa Joe when he gets his call up to Maine.
Maybe one day Braun will face Brock though. What do you think? Does Strowman have what it takes to survive Suplex City?
I don't know, man. After seeing that ad for 2K17 with the Downtown song, it's such a happy song. Makes it look like everyone there likes it just fine.
I think the guy that Dean Ambrose throws in the dumpster might be a little disgruntled.
A little bit, but he's a local enhancement talent, so who cares? CARMELLA! F-A-B-U-F-O-L-U-S.
No, Steve.
F and then U-S.
No.
Sorry. Larson, we have to talk about the Princess of Staten Island. She's kicking ass for the Blue brand now, as well as making her first appearance in a WWE video game this year.
That is true. The former cheerleader, model, and fitness trainer has come a long way since debuting in Enzo and Cass's hilarious segments on NXT.
Exactly, and the hottest chick in the ring did herself a huge favor by turning heel on SmackDown, as well as working matches with other talented ladies like Natalya and Alexa Bliss, another NXT alum who's doing wonders on the main roster. She's the #1 contender right now.
Not to mention Carmella threw herself into a program with one of the biggest names in the division, a returning Nikki Bella. Let's just hope she isn't buried by all the total Bella promos and hype.
Always possible. Maybe she can be scolded by John Cena about wearing shoes inside like he does with Johnny Ace and Daniel Bryan. The USOS! The USOS are probably one of the more polarizing tag teams in the WWE right now, regardless of brand.
Agreed. Most WWE fans realize that the twins are incredibly talented between the ropes, but fall short when it comes to entertaining in any other area. Besides maybe in Total Divas, they're actually really funny on that show.
Yeah, at some point I need to watch that.
Either way, the SmackDown brand brought the Usos over with a few other good tag teams like American Alpha, the Vaudevillains, and the Hype Bro, so it wasn't long before the new shiny belts had the twin tandem turning on everyone else just for a chance to don the straps again.
And suddenly we're all interested again. We care now. With the face paint gone, replaced by a vicious mean streak, the Usos have eyes on the prize, with most of the audience just waiting for them to super kick the belts right off of Slater and Rhino to end the ridiculous Cinderella story.
They may have been family friendly for a long time, but this isn't the first time these two have been heels.
Hell no. Rikishi's kids debuted in 2010 with Tamina and a chip on their shoulders, attacking the Hart Dynasty, who held the belts at the time. Jimmy and Jay had something to prove, and it looks like all these years later, they're getting around proving it.
Better late than never, I guess.
Yeah.
But won't we miss the brothers' constant cries of, "Oos!
No!
Oos!"
No! I'm not gonna miss that silly dance of theirs either.
I like the dance.
Sheamus! Not long ago, I was trying to figure out why Sheamus was still with the WWE.
I'm pretty sure he just didn't want to go back to being an IT guy. Would you?
I don't know. Being an IT guy might be awesome. Either way, he's a former World Heavyweight Champion, Royal Rumble, and King of the Ring winner. The Celtic Warrior has managed to be one of the most boring wrestlers who still gets a good bit of TV time.
And according to the fans, he looked stupid out there.
They say, you look stupid. So when Stephanie and Mick Foley brought him to Raw, most everyone was less than enthused.
And when the news that he'd be entering a best-of-7 series with Cesaro came up, no one was convinced it'd be worth anything until the punches started flying.
Damn right. Sheamus has reminded us that he may not be the best technical wrestler in the ring, but he's violent, hard-hitting, and can take whatever is dealt him.
With a little help from Cesaro, the fierce fella has proven us wrong, and fans are talking about him for the right reasons once again. We doubt they'll take the belts off New Day, but a good showing can propel both superstars, and this is just the kind of career rehabilitation that could have some life to it.
I miss when his entrance music talked about limes. Too many limes! Too many limes!
Is that why you had his theme on your phone as your ringtone?
It's a lobster head.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to mention that.
Heath Slater! The reasoning here may seem a bit obvious, but remember, Heath Slater has kind of been the running joke for WWE in everything involving his post-Nexus career.
Thusly, no one was shocked when the one-man band was left as the last man standing in the draft.
Pretty good, he carried a key there. At any rate, the former social outcast is no stranger to being a running punchline, and we thought the West Virginia native might do a variation on the set of matches he did against a slew of returning former champions in a build-up to the 1000th episode of Raw back then, like when he was stomped by DDP, Psycho Sid, and Vader, just with a contract on the line this time.
But instead, Slater won his opportunity several times over, only to screw it up post-match in a comedy of errors gimmick.
This led up to the tag team tournament and joining with an unlikely partner, ECW's Man Beast Rhino, who we learned has amazing chemistry with Heath Slater.
Fast forward one tournament, and the new odd couple had their first title reign, and we all got the opportunity to meet the Slater family.
He's got kids.
Needless to say, I don't think anyone saw the storyline going this far at the beginning, especially not ending in a title run of any real length.
Just an example of putting in the time and finding out the right story to break out in. Let's just hope it sticks.
He's literally one of the most over guys in the WWE right now. Those belts are staying put as long as Rhino doesn't have to go do politician things.
Yeah, well, you never know, he might. He's gonna run for president of Michigan, right? Yeah.
Something like that.
Dolph Ziggler! Larson, we all know that Dolph Ziggler is a talented athlete. He sells amazingly, and he can be quite entertaining on the mic. But something about him pre-brand split had just been...
boring as shit.
Yes, that's the word, yes.
Yeah, it's a bit sad, but ever since the horrible, horrible program with Rusev, Lana, and Summer Rae, where Dolph looked like he wanted to be doing anything else, there was just a string of bad feuds that seemed to drain the life out of the crowd and the show-off momentum.
Yep, and when one of the more memorable encounters is an exchange of low-blow match finishes with Baron Corbin, time to consider doing stand-up full-time.
So the split did the former Vicky Guerrero boy toy a huge favor, even landing him a victory on SmackDown Live's premiere episode to be Dean Ambrose's next challenger for the world title.
And of course, more recently, he had a Match of the Year contender with The Miz in a career versus title bout at No Mercy. We were there, we saw it live, it was amazing. You can even see us in the audience if you look close enough.
And all he had to do to get to that point was relive his most embarrassing career moments as a caddy and a member of someone's worst repressed memory from high school turned booking idea, the Spirit Squad.
Male cheerleaders are weird, period.
Be that as it may, Dolph is back on top and doing some of his best in-ring and story work in the past few years.
If this fails for whatever reason, you can always just don the pearl Southern gentleman suit and be the Colonel Sanders again.
World's best chicken sandwich?
Okay, spoiler alert on that one. We actually had a couple of Chicken Littles the other day. They're definitely not world's best anything. Rusev! Just get out of the way, please.
Machka!
Machka means crush, right?
Machka means crush.
Yeah, the Bulgarian brute found himself in quite the prestigious spot when the brand split left Raw without a main belt.
Not only did the duo of Lana and Rusev feel like they were back in rare form, but the situation elevated him and the US title to the main event, closing out Raw several weeks in a row in the spotlight.
Furthermore, Rusev had some brutal encounters with Roman Reigns, even pulling decent performances out of Reigns on the mic. Or at least in that one segment with a wedding cake and Reigns says, "Put that beef away."
Remember when Lana got pushed into their wedding cake?
Yeah.
She looked like something from a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like Carrie post-bloodbath.
It looked like a David Cronenberg creation. It just made me want cake though. But then lots of things make me want cake.
Now, it's true that he just dropped the belt and broke his promise of a 7-year reign, but this won't stop the super athlete.
Keep him aggressive. Let Lana do the talking other than his great one-liners, and we may be looking at one of Raw's best heels across the coming years.
How long before we see Rusev, hero of the Russian Federation, as Universal Champion?
By the end of 2017, I can almost guarantee it. He doesn't seem to suffer from the injury bug like a lot of the other Raw top-tier guys do.
Machka.
Becky Lynch!
The Irish lass kicker was SmackDown's first woman drafted, showing that she'd be a focus for the Blue Brands division and their new belt.
How can she be an Irish lass kicker if she's from Scotland like
That's
us?
because she's not from Scotland, Steve.
We're all sure Becky was a shoo-in for the new title, and damn does it seem like a good fit, especially since before the split, she seemed to be just on the outskirts of the title picture, no matter how well she did.
though she definitely deserved it.
Yeah.
Not only is her ring work solid, her secret weapon is a hidden arsenal of puns.
She loves her puns, man. She loves her Rocky Balboa references too. So now that the field has been narrowed, Becky has a bit more room to shine and breathe and dominate her competition with the disarmor, that thing that makes her opponent's arm look like a dingus.
Until she was hospitalized due to an unknown illness, Lynch just had to miss her No Mercy title defense, but is thankfully expected back soon.
Hopefully this is a small bump in the road and not a foreshadowing of things to come.
You know, I just thought she was taking a cue from her former training partner, Finn Balor, and taking some time off just after winning a belt.
AJ Styles! Wait, your new best friend isn't #1 on this list, Larson?
And give you a platform to loop everything about his success back around to whether I may or may not have too sweeted him? I don't think so.
You did too sweet him, friendo. I saw it.
No evidence.
But while the phenomenal one certainly deserves to grace the #1 spot, there is still a lot to be determined about his world title run.
It looks like Styles has a long reign in his future, but will it fall to some of the same staleness that a fan favorite like Ambrose's did?
Doubtful, but the decision to split the champ that runs the camp from the rest of the club was a bit surprising, just because they were doing great work before the split. It makes a bit of sense though, as AJ winning the belt solo makes his world title win more legit.
As long as he doesn't take a note from Seth Rollins and go all weak and cowardly heel, a la Seth's early time in the Authority, that should remain the case, Steve.
Yeah.
We did see some solid heel actions with the chair in his recent title match at No Mercy. The face that runs the place knows what he's doing, and he has all the tools to blaze his own trail and be the top dog on SmackDown for a long time.
Because he got your blessing with the too sweet.
No evidence.
No good? The Miz! The former real world star has had a lot of ups and downs. He managed to flub up some simple mic work back in the beginning of his career. One time he actually had the script written on his hand. But he found some success with the tag belts once he partnered up with Johnny Mundo.
When the team split, most assumed John Morrison would get the big push, but instead he's over in Lucha Underground, still wearing shiny pants and sunglasses with crosses on them, while Miz was given a program with John Cena.
The other subject that comes up a lot is his mostly panned title run leading up to WrestleMania 27, where what should have been his moment saw the Cleveland native instead playing second fiddle to Cena and a guy who wasn't even in the match, The Rock.
That's right. Since then, though, The Miz has taken some notes from other stars and revamped himself slightly.
Including having a douchebag Hollywood star attitude, his hot wife Maurice on one arm, and some odd clothing choices that he insists makes him better than us.
He's not wrong, especially when he wears really nice suits, like that red one he wore a few weeks back. Man, that was a good suit.
Yeah, not only has the attitude improved and the ring work been more enjoyable, Miz is even engaged in a great sub-feud with Daniel Bryan, dogging the man for his work at the end of his career. And of course, right now he's in the hunt to take his IC title back from Dolph Ziggler.
In our opinion, Miz has elevated himself past the Intercontinental title and has a chance to make us all forget about his past and hold the WWE World title now without it feeling underserved.
Assuming he doesn't mess it up, but we think he has the most potential in this current setup. Plus, it's SmackDown. There's not a lot of options there. He kind of wins by default. So there are the 10 wrestlers we feel have been helped most by the brand split. Let us know what you guys think in the comments.
And special shout out to Stephen Wilds, who's our new writer research guy, making sure we get our shit right.
Yeah.
Because we're old, we tend to misremember things.
Yeah, there's a link in the description of Steven's other work down there. Please check it out. He's actually a really good writer and he's helping us out now on the show.
He is.
Yeah.